Well, welcome back. I'm Cisco with C Pro Nutrition, and I have Bart. Bart has been a client of mine now for a year, and if you've been following me for quite some time, you've noticed and you've seen some of my testimonials in the past where I sat down, sit next to my clients, and allow them to share their experience with you all in hopes that maybe someone out there is struggling, don't know how to start their transformation or start their fitness journey. And the purpose of this is to get the information out there, hear it firsthand from clients, what they go through in the beginning stages when they start their transformation. It is challenging at first, but I'm not going to talk too much about it. I'm going to let Bart's here with us. Bart, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. Thanks for being an amazing client, dude. I worked with you for an entire year. Just before we dive into your weight loss, which was amazing, let's dive into your mindset prior, or your health prior to starting this fitness journey that you embarked.
Yeah, so I would say that by the end, towards the end of 2022, I was probably in the worst condition, worst health I've ever been in my life. I'd previously been in a really stressful job, and I'm an attorney, so a lot of long hours, a lot of work. And the prior firm I was with really just worked really hard there, and long hours, and never really had health or my lifestyle on the priority list,
Right.
really anywhere on the list. It wasn't even, not just high up, it wasn't anywhere on the list. And so I was really in rough shape, overweight, was having problems with sleep apnea, not eating well, not sleeping well, not feeling good, struggling to bend over and tie my shoes, running out of breath after a small flight of stairs. I mean, you name it, and it was in the bad zone.
And I mean, with that amount of health issues, I mean, you pretty much were eliminating the years to come and shortening your lifespan. Now, what was it that decided you took action? What was your why? Because most people find it difficult to find their why. What was your why?
I think it was looking at my kids and saying, I don't want to, first of all, I don't want to set a bad example for them, but at the same time, I want as much time with them as I can have. And not only that, they deserve a father and a parent who's going to be able to run around with them, who's going to be able to play with them, who's going to be able to go on adventures with them. And that for me, I think was the biggest, one of the biggest factors for me. And then also, I think I just put it off long enough that I said, when am I going to start? And it seemed like now was the time.
Right. And most people do that in the beginning. They put out these wishes until they actually take the initial step, and that's when it starts. So there's, we got the new year coming up, right? And the worst thing you can possibly do, in my experience as a health coach, is to wait the day of the beginning of New Year to start your New Year resolution. I mean, that really doesn't set the tone for the entire fitness journey. Most people end up quitting within 3 months of their program, but you stuck through it the entire year. Let's not done yet. No. Okay. So we're just here highlighting some of the accomplishments that you did for yourself. Now let's dive into that sleep apnea just for a little bit. Now, because I remember when we first started, that was one of the main things that was kind of like you're on top of the do list. How do I fix this? And I said, let's just work out. All right. So tell me, what was the transformation like?
Yeah, it was. So before that, I mean, I ended up having a sleep study where my breathing stopped. I think they said like something like 50 times every hour, my breathing was just stopping. And I basically having to wake myself up. My wife said I was snoring. It just sounded bad. I was on a CPAP machine. It wasn't comfortable. Just wasn't sleeping. And little by little, once we started, not only did the sleep apnea has now gone away, I don't use the machine anymore. I can't tell any difference with it. I mean, I can't tell, I can't see that I'm having any sleep apnea issues anymore. The biggest indicator is my wife is saying, hey, you're not having those issues anymore. And I'm not even snoring anymore. When I was snoring for years.
Hey, it sounds like a win-win. I mean,
definitely.
You're sleeping, now she's sleeping.
That's big time.
Awesome. That's all great stuff. Let's talk about your mental state, because when I first met you in the beginning as well, as a fitness coach, I feel like I can share this with you. You didn't have this full energy like I'm seeing now.
I think everything was a struggle, and the physical struggle almost gave way to the mental struggle, or they were both feeding each other to allow that, that feeling of, well, it's okay to be lazy, or it's okay for this to be a struggle. And I think at some point I said, I can convert that into a different kind of struggle, make it a struggle while lifting, make it a struggle on the bike, make it a struggle with saying no to some of the foods that aren't good for me. And I think I use that as a way to, now I do have a lot more energy. I do feel like I'm getting that good, restful, honest, pure sleep. I'm waking up and I'm attacking the day, and I'm not dragging or crashing at 2 p.m., 3 p.m. Used to be, I was like 2 p.m. I'm ready for a nap. Now I don't want a nap. I just want to keep going.
Awesome. Talk a little bit about your diet in the beginning.
I was always trying to diet before, quote unquote diet, and I think that people get mixed up in that a lot. And so when we started our process together, I can't remember if you remember this, but I said, I don't want this to be a crash diet where I'm just like dropping all this weight immediately and it's just like sucked out of me. And when I see that in some people, they look unhealthy, loose skin, all those things. And for me, it was about doing it right and doing it gradually, and not, well, let's just deprive everything, and instead substitute the good for the bad, focus on the good, and eliminate the really bad, eliminate the sugar, eliminate the alcohol. And I think that really made the difference for me. And it's allowed me to have a lot more freedom than I thought I would have.
You were a big drinker, weren't you?
Well, I'm a big drinker. I mean, I would drink on the weekends, and I think, certainly enjoy bourbon or scotch, but it just became, that was the regular weekend occurrence, not so much during the week, but weekend, it was happy hour time. It was have a few cocktails. And
how is it now?
It's
more control.
Yeah, it may be like I might have one drink a month, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's been extremely liberating, because, you don't really think about the calories and the sugar that's just an alcohol on its own.
Right.
But really, and I talked to my wife about this, it's really kind of just a poison. It's a poison that we enjoy. And hey, I trust me, I enjoy the poison every once in a while.
Of course.
But at the end of the day, it's a poison that's really just destroying your body,
right,
destroying your organs.
Right.
And is it worth it, for what's to come 20, 30, 40 years from now?
No, absolutely not. And then you're doing it in such a good way where you're now able to have that self-control, have that power, that willpower that most just, lack. But it's not that they lack, it's just a lack of devotion. There's really no purpose, right? So when you find that purpose, you're going to want that, you're going to find that willpower real quick. And I think that's what we've done so far.
Yeah.
We haven't discussed yet how much weight he lost. Bart, can you share how much weight you lost in a matter of a year?
I think officially that we can say that I got it over 53 pounds. So, averaging right around a pound a week. We started the Monday after Thanksgiving, which I think was huge because it kept me kind of honest and disciplined during the holidays, which now it's actually bled over into this season.
Right.
I've been a lot more disciplined this holiday season than I thought, than I'd been in the past.
Right.
But a little over 53 pounds. I think that, before you and I started, I tried, I think, getting down a little bit more from that point, doing some walking and some exercising, but it wasn't coming off until I think we started our journey together.
Right. We had to get over some hurdles first, that's first and foremost. And then during that time, I mean, you learned and now you're applying it this year into the holiday season, which is difficult for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
And you're doing very well with that too, which I'm like so just like amazed and how far you've come from when I first met you to where you're at now. And before we end this, we brought something in because what was unique and different with my client Bart than I had with all my other clients is that we didn't do any progress photos throughout any of this.
Yeah.
And that was because it was his choice. And as a fitness professional, we must listen to our clients. And if they say no, I mean, it's no, we don't accept photos, right? So, but what we did instead was I told Bart, don't forget that item. Can you present to us what you brought and what it looks like?
Sure. Let's see here. I've got some jeans. These jeans I was wearing.
There we
is
go.
About a year ago.
Jesus, dude.
I know, man. I mean, it's
two.
You might be able to fit two of me in
jeans.
there.
Look at that.
I can't believe it. It's shocking.
It is
Shocking how.
Dude, I hope you like eventually put that somewhere where you know. I mean, I'll probably donate it. I don't know, or just have it somewhere that will always remind you that's not who I am, and I'm never going back there again. Never again.
Yeah.
Well, Bart, man, I really appreciate your humbleness, your achievements, your dedication within this journey. Like I said, it is not over yet. The best is yet to come. We're coming into 2024. We have goals. And the most important thing that keeps everybody in line is having those goals set out for yourself so it will keep you focused. And I think that's what got us through this year, okay? Because I've seen it, and it's going to get us through many more years to come. And trust me, next time I have Bart on here, he's probably going to definitely look a lot different than this last interview.
The journey continues.
The journey continues, my friend. All right, well, thank you. What Bart shared was all the benefits from strength training. He has committed to only 2 strength training sessions a week. That's it. He followed my nutrition suggestions. He's eating more and better than ever before. And on his days off, he's getting out of his comfort zone. He was pressed for time, and I wish he had a bit more. Nonetheless, he's plunging every day for 3 minutes. See, we tend to tell ourselves because of our past, that we are insignificant or we just can't do it. But what Bart showed was that you can do it. In the beginning, Bart told himself he was always beating himself down with the self-talk. Now, he's unstoppable.